Okay.
Oh, actually, it's 2 copies and 1 cemetery deed. My mistake. Misspoke.
Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming tonight to the Town of Hamilton Board of Selectmen meeting for Monday, September 9th. We'll start off as we always do with a pledge of allegiance to the flag. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
He's coming.
Oh, great. Okay, thanks, Sean. Okay, a couple of announcements here. We have some board and committee openings. The Board of Health, there's 1 opening. The Hamilton Affordable Housing Trust, there's 1 opening. And the Finance Committee, there's 1 opening. These are 3 very important committees, and a shout out to the Finance Committee as well. That's, I think, one of the town's most important committees to be a part of. So hopefully we'll get some good interest in all 3 committees. This is when we have 3 minutes for public comment. Would anybody have anything to say that's not on the agenda? All right. Now it's time for Selectmen and Town Manager reports. Sean, you want to start?
Sure.
All right.
News from the rec department, fall sports have started. You may have noticed the fields with tons of kids on them. Sean Timmons, the rec director, will be in, I think, sometime in October at a meeting, giving us an update on the rec department and also all our kind of pool numbers and stuff like that.
Great.
Also coming up on Sunday, September 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. is a kite flying day at the Patton Homestead. It says the announcement here is a day of casual and some serious kite flying at the Patton Homestead. Fly your own kite. Watch. Oops, I lost my computer here. Watch kites over New England member displays. Learn to build your own kite for $5. Kite repair, sale, and swap. A&B Burgers and Secret Cod food trucks will be there, or you can bring your own and picnic. On-site parking and free admission.
Oh, that's great.
And then also our cultural council. I should say they are looking for applications for their funding proposals for 2019. I'll just read their little snippet here. Greetings all Hamilton Wenham arts and culture lovers and makers. 10/15, October 15th is the deadline for grant applications from the Cultural Council. They're open to a wide variety of organizations and individuals, and we look forward to funding some great applications. You can go to a link. If you go to the Hamilton Wenham Facebook page, you can find a link there. You can also go to the massculturalcouncil.org and find a link there. The Hamilton Wenham Cultural Council is part of a network of 329 local cultural councils serving 351 communities in Massachusetts and the Commonwealth. They have this year, I think, let's see, they will be able to distribute about $9,400 in grants for programs taking place in 2019. They've funded a lot of different things over the years, such as Hamilton Wenham Library programs, music and drama, support in public schools, and the League of Women Voters Civics Bee. They usually have quite a good number of applications, and they have a big meeting in kind of when they get them all in, they review them, and sometimes they give the full amount of the ask, sometimes they don't. They like to distribute it around as much as they can to help kind of pay down some of the costs of some of the programming. But definitely, if you're interested, do an application. It's a worthwhile thing to get some culture in Hamilton. And that's really all I have today.
Great, thanks, Sean. What are you, Darcy?
Yes, good evening. Capcom next meeting is September 30th at 6 p.m. on the 2nd floor of the library in the local history room. Right now, it's a lot of work. They're just gathering up all the data right now. They're working on compiling upcoming projects and working toward how they're going to prioritize those projects and also funding mechanisms. I attended the joint FinCom-Capcom meeting last week. It was considered introductory. It was their first meeting, but it was substantial, and the 2 bodies will be working hand in hand. let's see, the other thing is, oh yes, the Massachusetts Department of Energy awarded the town a Green Communities grant of $23,156 for LED lighting retrofits for the rec center, the public safety building, and the water plant. That was all due to the work of our energy manager, Vicki Massoni. She did a great job. I love having tax dollars come back to the town.
That's
Every
great.
chance we can get.
That's awesome.
That's it.
That's great. All right, thank you. Rosie?
Okay. First thing I wanted to talk about was the Hamilton Foundation, which is our local foundation that's committed to providing financial support, short-term finite support for Hamilton citizens. They will be having their fundraising effort in the fall, water bill mailing, and it's important to remember there's no tax money used for this program. It's completely privately funded. It's anonymous to people who need the services, and they will be coming before the Board of Selectmen to chat with us just after their fundraising begins around mid-November. So I will be joining the Trash Mitigation Task Force at a meeting on 9/26. Should be interesting. Citizens are invited to come and discuss the pros and cons of different ways of collecting our trash. The next thing I want to talk about is received a letter from the Chabaco Lake and Watershed Association concerned about some local flooding that's been going on up by Chabaco Pond and some of the surrounding smaller ponds. They're looking for some assistance in clearing sediment so that the water will drain more efficiently. Right now, the higher level of water is causing, as I said, some local flooding. And that this request came in a little bit late to become part of the hazard mitigation plan that town manager is working with MAPC on. But there's another program in the works, the Municipal Vulnerability Plan, and we're hoping to be able to provide some support in this endeavor. And then finally, in our special town meeting warrant, there'll be an article for a rewrite of our Wetlands Protection Act. It's been reviewed by Town Council, and it's in final draft form. I will be presenting that to the FinCom this Thursday, and we, the Select Board, hope to present modified public hearing, not necessarily hearing, but a question and answer period at our next meeting so that citizens can come and talk about it and find out what's involved in it, so that when you go to town meeting on October 19th, everybody will be all ready to vote. That's it.
Great, thanks, Rosie. Bill, do you have anything?
Yeah, the planning board will hold an update of their master plan at the Hamilton Senior Center on Thursday, September 19th at 7 o'clock. So everyone should attend that to hear the update on that plan.
All right. And I just had a couple things. The Town Hall Building Committee will be meeting Wednesday at 3 o'clock here. And if you all could, Sean, thanks for getting the information about the review process. If you all could just check your emails probably Wednesday, and so we can get on that and get that done for, hopefully be on the agenda for the next meeting. Okay. All right. And that's all I had. Joe?
Hey, turned in my town manager report to you today. You have it in your packets. We'll put it on the website tomorrow. We have a visitor night. I just want to acknowledge and introduce to you folks. So rather than give my report, I will introduce the new town administrator for the town of Wenham, our new colleague Anthony Insaldi.
Oh,
We wanted to stop by and say hi tonight. And I'm going to, if you indulge me, let Anthony tell you all about something we'll be bringing to you probably at the next meeting.
Oh, great.
Regarding
Yeah.
our building inspector.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here. It's great to work with Joe. I know that the communities of Hamilton and Wenham work together on a lot of regional projects. Joe and I know each other, and we've already hit the ground running about 4 times so far in the last 30 days that, well, this starts my 4th week in Wenham. So I do look forward to continuing those efforts in regional opportunities that we may have. One thing that we just recently finished up is the building inspector. So last week, we had a interview committee consisting of Patrick, Jackie, and Margaret Hoffman, and my town planner, and they're prepared to recommend a final candidate. I'm not going to say the name tonight because I'm not sure if they've been notified yet. The Wenham Board of Selectmen will be taking that up on the 17th, and I believe this board will be taking it up 2 weeks from this
Plan to bring
evening.
it to the chairman for the meeting on the 23rd.
Great.
As you know, as part of the regional agreement, Wenham hires the building inspector, but your board also has to appoint him to be the building inspector for the town, so I wanted to inform you of that. It was a good process. There were 2 finalist candidates. Both candidates did well, but the interview committee made a unanimous recommendation for the one candidate, so that's the name that'll be before you in a couple weeks.
Joe and I both believe that having both communities sit in the interview makes the most sense. So they really did a great job, not only just doing the interview, but we also put them through a little zoning exercise and test them on their abilities. So it was a great job by the committee, and Joe and I are pleased with the outcome.
Excellent. It's great to hear. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming
Nice to meet
tonight.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
nice meeting you all.
All right.
Welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
See you Thursday.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
I came at your meet and greet, but I came on the wrong day, so hello.
So many times.
Not by any time.
I've done it.
Thank
You show
you.
up someone, you're like, where's
All right, thanks for coming. Have a good night. Okay, consent agenda. Approve annual request of the Friends of Hamilton Wyndham Library to hang a banner on Bay Road to support the book sale from September 14th through the 19th, 2019.
Can I ask you to hold the next item?
Okay, we're going to hold this item, which is approved request for change of manager on a liquor license for Indigo Restaurant DBA is 15 Walnut. Hold. And then the final thing is minutes of the Board of Selectmen special water meeting on July 29th, 2019.
I'm just going to hold that last one, not because I'm in opposition, but I wasn't there, so I don't want to abstain from the whole consent agenda. I'd rather
Okay.
separate it out if that's all right with you,
Okay,
Mr. Chair.
sure.
I mean, it's
One at a
technical
time.
kind of thing, but
One at a time, I guess.
So no consent agenda, but that's okay. So I'll take a motion to approve the annual request of the Friends of the Hamilton Wyndham Library to hang a banner on Bay Road to support book sale from September 14th through the 19th.
so moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Can I
Thank
ask a
you.
clarifying question? Is this on our little sad piece of 2x4 down there, or is it on the tennis courts?
They were asking to hang it where they usually hang it, so I imagine on the little sad 2x4, or is it tennis courts?
Can we do something about that sooner than later?
Yeah,
before-
that's,
They're working on
There's a sign.
getting the
There's
new
a sign.
electronic signboard. We'll
Yeah,
get
okay.
that, that'll be replacing
That went
everything
through planning and
soon,
zoning, so
Yeah,
I think it's just in
okay.
the works.
All right, good.
all right, and then,
but the reason for the hold on the liquor, you didn't
Sure.
finish the vote on that? Did you?
we finished.
Okay.
on that.
All right.
Yeah.
The reason for the hold on the liquor license is that we had asked them to have somebody present to answer any questions for you in case, and they informed us today that they didn't have anybody available. So we told them that with nobody available, we wouldn't let it be voted on.
Okay.
That makes sense to me.
So-
Yeah.
So they'll have to provide somebody for them to get it back on the agenda, sorry.
Okay.
All right, and I move that we approve the minutes for the Board of Selectmen special water meeting on July 29th, 2019.
A second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great.
Abstain.
Abstain.
3-0-2. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, excellent. Now onto the agenda, and really excited to have the Hamilton Development Corporation here tonight, and I understand they've got a presentation that they'd like to share with us.
Thank you, Jeff. And hopefully, I might need some technical assistance with the computer. We'll see if it works. I want to thank you for the opportunity to come before you. And
Rick, we all know you. You want to introduce yourself?
Sorry.
That's okay.
Rick Mitchell, President of the Hamilton Development Corporation, and wanted to update the Board of Selectmen and the general audience on some of the activities that we've been engaging in terms of helping and promoting the economic development of the commercial district. So the first thing, and as we have on the screen here, we've put together a new tab on the town webpage. Far right side is Shop Local. We would have liked to have done this live, but the Wi-Fi and some technical difficulties here don't allow it, so we did screenshots. So it's prominently displayed there, and now let's see what happens if it actually moves. No, of course it doesn't. Oh, there, oh, it does. I'm just too fast. Let's back up. There we go. All right. So this is the second page of this new Shop Local web page, which is designed to promote downtown businesses. And thanks to Dorr and Mary Alice Cookson, who put a lot of work into the background work of collecting data, and Mary Alice identified 125 businesses in Hamilton and Wenham, about a dozen in Wenham we included, just because we really are connected. So we'll go to the next page. We have on the web page is a map of all the businesses listed. There are about 75, got cut off at the bottom here. And then there's a key of whether they're the arts, services, dining, or retail. So you get an idea of where these businesses are located and what their names are based on the numeric key. So we'll move on to the next page. Then on this page, we have a listing of all these businesses, and you can sort them by categories. So you hit the categories tab, and I'm sorry we can't show you this live. And it'll list restaurants, financial, retail. So you can sort, and all those categories would show up here. This is just a selection of the general categories. And each of them has a link to their webpage. So we picked out the Monogram Shop shamelessly because one of the Hamilton Development Corporation board members and one of the people on the business committee is here tonight, so that it takes you to their webpage, and they can, people can reference what the products or services are, contacts, how to do business with these people. So go to the next page. So then we also advertise upcoming events. You see here upcoming downtown holiday event, and several members of the business group are going to follow me and talk a little bit about that and tell you what's going on there. We also show some of the getting around Hamilton, getting around downtown and the rest of the town. And then if you click that page, you'll go to upcoming holiday event details or whatever other details or event. Those details will be up there, so people will know. We want to have this sort of serve as a central location for information. If things are happening in downtown that anybody feels that will sort of relate to downtown business development or activities, to use this as a site to promote those or advertising. And then again, the last page is sort of related additional information, what's going on at Patton Park, and then some information on the street fair that happened last May. Information about Hamilton and the Hamilton Development Corporations, and if you're a new resident. So it's another way to introduce people to the town and the activities that are going on. So this is just not for reading, but this is the list that Mary Alice Cookson put together, and it's only partial, so it's a listing of all the businesses, the names, address, telephone number, email address, services, and this didn't exist until we undertook this effort. Probably drove Mary Alice nuts collecting all of this information, but now we have this as a central file, so we know who's in town, how to get a hold of them, And we've shared this with the downtown business group so that they can help use this as a tool to organize and bring the businesses together. That said, we've been assisting the downtown business group. We originally had a meeting in February where about a dozen people came, and we said, hey, we're here from Hamilton, we're the government, and we're here to help. And I think that helped bring the group together. I think they were already working on trying to figure out how they could be marketing, but we wanted them to know that we were here as a resource, and this really was the genesis for putting together that web page as a way to help promote their businesses. We've assisted them with insurance, paying the insurance costs for the upcoming event and the previous event on Railroad Ave. So that said, I'd like to introduce Angela Arvanites, Jan Suhlman, Karen Moulton, and Natalie Bowers. I think Jan is going to get up and talk about what's coming up for the holiday event. And I'll turn it over to you.
Hi there.
Got it?
Yep.
That's
Oh. Hi, I'm here to tell you a little bit about Shop Local HW. My name is Jan Suhlman, and I own a small business called Clutch Towels. I actually sell my towels in Angela Arbanite's store, a monogram shop, which got a great plug on there. Her store is right on Railroad Ave in downtown Hamilton. And together we partnered with Karen Moulton, who owns TM Landscaping, also in downtown Hamilton, and with Natalie Bowers, who owns Acorn Communications, and she can be with us tonight. But together, we formed Shop Local HW. And what that is really, it's a nonprofit organization that supports and advocates for local business. And together, we really believe there's an undeniable link between strong local business and a strong community. And if citizens can support their local businesses, the local businesses will grow and they'll thrive, and in return, will support the community. And a great example of this, which we'll touch on in a minute, is the May Street Fair. Many of you may have attended. So our role, we really see our role as being able to bridge and build, and that is in a bunch of different ways. First, we want to unite local businesses and entrepreneurs together so they can share skills, share information, share concerns, but also solutions, and also form partnerships, if that makes sense. And this includes nonprofits. We also feel like we want to act as a liaison between local business owners and the community. Again, the street fair would be an example of that. And finally, we think we can help the town and the HDC gain an understanding of the needs of local businesses. Again, their concerns, and also brainstorm solutions for what they need. And just see how we can work together to cultivate a better downtown experience that enriches the community and improves things for everybody. So I talked about the events. We had created the first ever May Street Fair right on Railroad Avenue in downtown Hamilton. We were really happy with how it turned out. We actually pulled this together in just 6 weeks. And we could not have done it without the HDC. Their help was instrumental in helping to execute this event this rapidly. We were really thankful to the Hamilton Police and everyone who supported this event. We were able to shut down the road. It was great. We had over 50 businesses and organizations on board. And we estimate at least 500 people came through during the hours of the event. And I think the greatest news was it was a big success. We got excellent feedback from everybody. Everybody's enthusiastic. And I think, if you don't see a bad comment on our local Facebook page, you know you've done something right. So, so anyway, so we were really excited about that, and people were so enthusiastic that they actually were saying, when are you going to do something else? What are you going to do next? And so again, getting back to the whole concept, if you support local business will in turn support the community. We had another crazy idea, and that was to create a really fun two-town holiday event. And so this is what we're working on now. It's going to be on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, which is November 30th. It also happens to be Small Business Saturday, which is a national event. So it's a great opportunity to support your local businesses and entrepreneurs. And just to top line it, it's a one-day festival where we see multiple events happening throughout the two towns. We're going to have a holiday trolley run up and down at multiple stops to bring people along, create a little fun holiday spirit. We plan to have a tree lighting, caroling, maybe even a visit from Santa. So we're really excited about this event. And again, we just think it's a great way to bring the community together, to make them aware of local businesses and entrepreneurs, but also just do something fun and just enrich the community. So that's what we're working on.
That's great. Fantastic.
Oh, did you have? Yeah.
I do have a question. So Shop Local, that's your nonprofit, that's your entity, do I understand that correctly?
Yes.
Local HW.
Yep. Okay, so you ladies have done that?
Yes.
That's great. And so your purpose is to just enrich the experience by a communication between the towns and the shop owners?
Yeah, I think it's really to kind of unite the local shop owners so we can all share in a vision and understand each other's concerns and try to brainstorm solutions to help grow the local.
So do you have meetings or, okay, you do?
We have meetings. We actually have a Facebook page called Shop Local HW.
I've seen it.
Yep,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's had a
okay.
lot of activity. How many? We up to over 500 people have joined that page. Because I think people want to know. They want to know and they want to support local. So they just need to know who's out there and what opportunities are there.
Right. I think it's great. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, ladies. The street fair, I went to it in May. It was great. I bought some of your towels for my
Thank
beach
you.
trips this summer. They're great.
Would you recommend them?
I would recommend it. But I thought it was great. I think the weather was a little iffy in the morning, but it
yes.
kind of it looked awful,
pouring rain.
and then it
Yeah.
poured, and then it stopped.
Yeah.
It just was like perfect timing,
Yes.
and then everyone kind of came out. I think it was really great. And the comment I got from a lot of people was, when are they going to do it again? And I think that's really good feedback, because people are going to want to see more events like that. And I think what you're doing here is a really step in that direction to really hopefully boost some of those businesses downtown, because we have had a lot of turnover over the years in some of those shops.
Yeah.
So trying to keep those local businesses here and being a viable part of the community is a really big deal for us as a board, I think, too, to keep that commerce downtown and keep people coming into downtown. And when people come in for like football games or other events in town, to come downtown and spend their money in our restaurants and our businesses is what we really need.
We're also trying to encourage people to understand that there is a flow to downtown. I think people sort of see it as like a drive-by or a stop-by, but they don't come and then stick and stay. And so we're trying.
There's a walkability that people aren't understanding. It's very easy to walk.
So we're sort of trying to point that out a little bit by way of this holiday fair, to sort of give people like a natural flow of getting from one place to the other.
And has your group, the local Shop Local HW, looked at some of the charrettes and stuff that the planning board has done for the downtown improvements and stuff, and thought about some of those options and working towards those?
Yeah, I mean, we actually, before we met with the HDC, I think formally, we were we had a bunch of business owners. I mean, I'm a new business owner downtown, but we had several business owners who have been in town for a number of years and have said, like, my goodness, we've been waiting for like somebody to put together a group so that there could be some sort of collective voice, because a lot of what's in that, what is addressed in that plan are some of the things that we've heard are issues: lighting, signage, some sort of way of understanding where the flow is. So maybe that's sidewalks or crosswalks or what have you. But a lot of those things are in that plan, and those are definitely things we've heard are an issue.
Great.
Can you tell me how HDC was instrumental in assisting you?
Well, I mean, I think, again, we had 6 weeks to pull this together, and so to shut down a kind of major road in the center of town, how are we going to do that? So, and Dor helped us get a meeting with Lieutenant James at the police department. He helped arrange that. He helped us work with Joe, with the town manager, to help us set everything up and get all the permits we needed. So he just really helped link us to everyone we needed to link up to get this event executed, and it was kind of a miracle, but we did. So.
It was fun. I did go, and it was great.
For us too,
Yeah.
things we were going to need, forms we were going to need to fill out, and sort of streamline the whole process.
He
Whereas
really did.
It would have been us having to do all of that in a very short period of time if we didn't have that support.
And if you don't know what you don't know,
Yes.
something's going to fall between the cracks. So it was great to have someone on board who could really shepherd the whole process.
Well, Dor, I have to attest to the fact that Dor was very enthusiastic about it, so good work. And it was fun. The only comment I would have is the pony left too early. There were some very disappointed little girls. So next year, Preserve the
More pony
pony.
Full time. Okay, well, thank you,
Excellent.
everybody.
Whatever we can do to help, so we're here to help you guys too, so,
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you all for coming in. Really appreciate it. Rick, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Just that this is just a wonderful synthesis that just has come together in the last year. And I want to thank everybody on the business side. They've really, infused the downtown with some enthusiasm about getting things going, which is only going to help us with what we're doing. And I think at the last town meeting, there was a presentation on what we hope to accomplish with Railroad Avenue. Just a quick update, we have Maxwell Shoe Shop is going through a site plan review right now, or will be in the next couple of weeks before the planning board for a mixed-use commercial development with a number of approximately 20-bedroom, probably be a rental unit that we will take, the HDC hopes to get approved by the planning board, and then we will put it out to bid for a developer to build it. Depending on whether it's and we're going to let the developer decide whether it's going to be condos or apartments, but it will generate a significant new source of revenue and hopefully business activity downtown. And the proceeds we will be directing towards the redevelopment of Railroad Avenue. You've seen some of I have some slides here. If people want to see them, they might have seen them before. Of making that an example of what the downtown could look like in terms of streets, the sidewalks, trees, lighting, signage, and really work to try and connect, because we really have two downtowns. We have the shopping center, and then we have Railroad Avenue, and they're divided by, 1A, and we're trying best as we can to figure out a way to connect them and make them one unit. So that's what we'll be working on in the future, and we hope to be able to brief you on that.
The proceeds of the sale, you're talking about Max Shoe?
Yes.
Okay, and what do you anticipate will be, how much will that be?
Well, we can't tell you exactly because we haven't
Guesstimate.
Gotten it through site plan review, and the planning board will have a great deal of input and comment on what its final design will be. So, and then the market will determine what the value is. We have a $464,000 mortgage. We've done a marketing plan before we even started this process. We hired a professional real estate evaluation firm and looked at the market and what would be most appropriate at that site, and they believe it would be worth at least $1 million. So,
As is, just,
no, with some sort of development going, it's been appraised at $900,000 by the bank. So we think we'll get at least $1 million, maybe more.
so I have kind of an issue with private nonprofit companies making profits off of town-owned real estate.
Well, it's
So
not town-owned real estate.
Well, didn't the town purchase?
No,
No.
the HDC.
Oh, with town money.
And HDC is a public nonprofit. It's different from a private nonprofit. It's a public nonprofit.
Yeah, and
But your seed money came from the town, and you get $75,000 a year
let's slow down.
of the
Let's slow-
meals tax every
let's-
year.
let's
Does
slow
this
down
mean
here.
you won't need the $75,000 a year in the meals tax?
Let's slow down here. You've asked me about 6 different questions. First of all, Hamilton Development Corp. is a public nonprofit. It's separate from the town.
Right.
It doesn't use any tax revenue, and any services that the town engages and helps us with in terms of payroll or administrative, we pay the town for.
So that would be considered
Hold
indirect?
on, let me finish. And we also pay real estate taxes on that piece of property. So the town it does not cost the town anything. It's paid for by the meals tax. It's
Yes,
not
but
a real estate tax. So I
The
want to be
meals
clear
tax,
about
no,
that.
let me be clear. The meals tax comes from the general fund. It goes into the general fund. So when we at town meeting legislate and we give it to you, that is not written in stone. What I'm trying to say is, the town does have the option of not funding you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The voters have an option to do whatever they want.
So what I'm asking is, I have a problem with the money. I think I just have an issue with how you can parlay the sale of the property and the town has no say on how the money is spent.
Well, the town does have a say. The Board of Selectmen appoint the 5 members of the Board of Directors of the Hamilton Development Corporation. So you do have a direct say.
Okay,
You
good.
have
I didn't know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and I'd be happy to sit down and talk to you in great detail about what we're doing. And it was originally created, the meals tax was voted in by an overwhelming majority of town meeting.
I voted for that.
Great.
As an
For-
experiment to see what would happen.
Well, the experiment has life and is working forward to not only support downtown businesses, but redevelop Max property so that it becomes an asset that produces significantly new revenues to the town and provides housing that is not now available. So those are valuable assets to the town, and it will be producing new revenue. So what while you may be uncomfortable with a public nonprofit making money, that's what it was designed to do. It was voted on by town meeting.
Right.
You're always about
Every year.
No. You're always about democracy, which is great. Town meeting voted overwhelmingly to support the
Right.
charter, a state charter of the HDC, making us a public nonprofit with the powers to actually go out and bond, raise money, to own property, to rent property, to build property, and to use money to help promote the downtown businesses. And that's exactly what we're doing. So that's what those monies are being used for. And we hope to use the proceeds to help continue to develop the downtown business area and investing in infrastructure that will make it even more attractive to come downtown, shop downtown, build those businesses that will contribute to the viability and vitality of the downtown. So that's what our charter is. That's what we're designed to do. That's what we're legislatively
Are there any
authorized
mechanisms
to
for
do.
Transparency?
Excuse me?
Are there any mechanisms for transparency? So if they wanted, if the people in the town wanted to see how the money is spent and where it's going on the meals tax, do you have that information available for people to?
Absolutely. We have a budget that's public information. If you go to the HDC website, you'll see a whole list of all the projects that we've done, all the meetings we've had, all the documents and consultants' reports we've produced. We have a meeting every other Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. in the morning. And the public is welcome to come. We'd be happy to meet with anybody individually to describe what we're doing.
How old is the organization again?
Excuse me?
How old is the organization again?
We're now into our 6th year.
Okay. It's been a long time since you started, so I just was wondering if there was anything else besides this that has been accomplished.
Well, again, I'd be happy to sit down and describe in great detail all the studies that we've done. We've looked at downtown sewerage. We brought in a grant from the Barr Foundation and had MAPC in here to do a village plan, which is on the website, which describes some of the opportunities for making and reconnecting the downtown, creating bicycle lanes, making it more transportation and pedestrian friendly. So there's a lot of things that we have been doing. So I think we're as transparent as we can be.
I guess I'm just trying to figure out.
I'd be happy to sit down and talk to you in more detail
The
if you've got questions.
$450,000 roughly that we've spent so far, it just doesn't seem like there's been a lot to show for it.
Well, that's certainly your opinion, and you're certainly welcome to it. I think if you actually dug into it and looked at what we have done, and looked at the website and all the activities we've engaged in, you might have a different opinion.
I'll take you up on that.
Okay, good. I hope you will.
So I have a question. The Max Shoe property, in 2016, the HDC had a consultant come and look at the water table there. And according to your own minutes, the HDC minutes, the conclusion was that development at the Max Shoe property would cause substantial risk of flooding to abutters, and I'm just wondering what you're planning to do about that.
I know of no such report, and we would not be engaging in redevelopment of that site if, in fact, it was going to have any detrimental impact on neighboring properties. We've hired a civil engineering firm along with an architect to look at that site and do detailed soil analysis. In fact, they've gone out and perked the site, and it's perked perfectly well. And
Up top, where near the street, or way down where that large depression is?
the site has perked where we're looking at septic. And as far as I know, various sites have been done, and there is no problem on that site. And in fact, it will be designed with drainage that meets state requirements for drainage and percolation. So, and that's why we're having a public hearing before the planning board to let the public come in and take a look at what's been done, what we're proposing. We will substantiate anything and all plans we have with detailed, objective, independent engineering analysis. And anybody.
But your water evaluation by a water expert in 2016. I don't have a report in front of me, but I do have reference to it in your own minutes. And there are abutters that are quite concerned about the impact to their property.
Well, of course they would be. They're going to be concerned about traffic, they're going to be concerned about noise, they're going to be concerned about lighting, they're going to be concerned about water, as well they should be. And that's why we have engaged professional civil engineering, architectural, and
So what do you think has changed what do you think has changed from 2016 when your own expert talked about the grave risk of flooding?
Well, again,
I'm confused.
Rosemary, I can't actually have a conversation with you because I know of no report that stated there was a grave danger of flooding. We have hired a very well-known, experienced civil engineering firm to do a detailed analysis of the land, its percolation, its drainage, and has taken into account all the issues that are on that site. We wouldn't go forward with trying to develop that site if it weren't going to pass technical muster, it weren't going to pass planning board, it weren't going to pass the local health board.
My other issue is that there are at least two members of the HDC who are also members of the planning board. I wonder how objective the opinions would be. What do you think?
What opinions?
The opinions of whether it should be granted a permit to develop.
Well, those two members, myself and Brian Stein, will be recusing ourselves throughout the hearing process.
Right.
So it'll be up to the other board members. And just so you know, we will be having at the end of this month a butters and neighborhood meeting where everybody will be mailed an invitation to come to a meeting so they can hear and see what our plans are. And so we can answer questions.
Several neighbors at one of your charrettes a few years ago came to a meeting, and they were against a high-density development there. I believe you had planned.
Rosemary, there's an entire process for a public hearing for this. It's on the agenda for planning board, so I think we're derailing the conversation here and not being productive.
Well,
You're quoting things from years ago, and there's actually going to be a public hearing. When's it going to be?
It will be in 3 weeks.
Okay, so why don't we focus on that?
You're more than welcome to come.
Right.
I would advise you before you make any judgments as to the efficacy and the practicality of this project, you come and hear objective, independent information about what it looks like, how it's designed, where it's placed, and ask good questions. I mean, because we're open to questions. We want this to be a totally transparent process. We want it to be vetted thoroughly, and we want it to be a high-quality project that the town can be proud of.
My
So
only
we're not trying
comment
to
would be,
run-
I wonder what's different now than was just a very few years ago. And I do look forward to coming to that meeting, and I hope other people will come and look at this site and the water table, and perhaps we'll be able to dig up that report from 2016 and just make sure that this high-density development on 1 acre in the downtown is in the best interest of the town.
And that's why we're here, and that's what our charge is to help create and develop a commercially viable projects that fit within the character and tenor of the town. So there's no desire by anybody, there's no secret agenda. We want to have high-quality project that meets the needs of many of our downtown residents, and many residents in this community. They can't find rental housing. There is no rental housing in this town. So it's something that's desperately needed. And if you come to the planning board meeting on the 19th, you'll learn more about the fact that we have severe housing shortage for our seniors, for people who are trying to start families, and people that want to stay in this community. So I think it serves multiple purposes, and we're going to try and do the best project we can that benefits the town financially, on a housing basis, and environmentally, and as a real attribute to the downtown and its neighbors. And we're going to do nothing else, and we're really proud and excited about something coming forward, and we look forward to your critical engagement and looking at the facts, and if you have information that counters that you can substantiate, we'd love to hear it, because it'll only be a better project by people contributing and participating to make that a great project.
And I hope that many people do come to help talk about all of the issues involved in this wreck.
Good, I do too. I look forward to it. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for the community to engage and decide what its future looks like.
I just want to point out that the meeting on this project, the meeting with the public is October 1st. It's a Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. It's in this room.
Perfect.
And our consultants will be meeting with members of the public to talk about the project. The meeting does have to get cut short at 7 o'clock because then the planning board will meet. But they're more than welcome to come that night, Tuesday, October 1st.
Doesn't give a whole lot of time for
Just for the record,
discussion.
that's the infamous door fox.
Well, and I think the point of having a meeting like that 6 to 7 is to provide the information that they're looking at, get a little bit of feedback, but really the big process, the permitting process is in the planning board's hands, and their meeting's at 7 o'clock following that. So they'd be the ones to actually take testimony from the town and shape an order of conditions things. So yeah.
Excellent. All right, well, thank you, Rick. Let's see, next on the agenda.
Gets easier in water abatements.
What's that? It gets easier with the water abatements? Water abatements, we have 3 on file.
So you have in your file 3 water abatements. One is for, I'll go in order of lowest to highest. One is for 780 Bay Road, total, which would result in a total revised bill of $513.46. All 3 of these abatements have all the supporting information as provided by the DPW director. This was determined to be, I believe, is a leaky toilet. The second one was also a leaky toilet at 300 Moulton Street, and results in a total revised bill of $695.11. And the third one is not a leaky toilet. It's a Asbury Camp Meeting Corporation, and it would result in a total revised bill of $41,822.80. All the information for all 3 of these abatements is in your packets for you to act on. Thank you, Dor.
They all seem somewhat straightforward, except the last one, obviously, because it's a big number. Is there kind of description of why or what happened here that,
So, Tim was able to provide some information. He had,
yeah,
after noticing a large amount of usage, the Town of Hamilton Water Department notified Tim, and Tim and the Water Department went up there to work with the facilities director at the camp to figure out what was going on. And it seems that there is a valve that had been turned on somehow and left on that didn't go anywhere, just allowed water to continue to tick through the meter for a period of months. It was not viewed to be faulty equipment, certainly not the town's faulty equipment, and but this was definitely a much larger usage than historically has happened at that location in prior years. So the abatement is in order with the way the town normally does an abatement, as far as trying to abate up to 50% of the difference of what the history is versus the actual. So that's where you're at there.
I mean, one thing we talked about at the previous one was that, is there any way to do real-time analysis of any water flow? So when something goes, you know, this much, this high, I mean, the small ones, you're not going to detect something like this if you had some sort of real-time, it's a once every 3 months they get a bill. So
Right.
that's what they'd asked in their letter. They said, we're going to get like a real-time water meter reading. They would have seen that day 1, week 1, not month 3. So I think that's something we should talk to Tim about in terms of, on some of the larger lines, can you get any sort of real-time reading? So when you have a leak like this, it's not a 3 months before you see some sort of anomaly.
that makes sense, especially like you said on the larger ones. All right, well, are there any other questions? So can we vote on these as a group, or do we do it individually?
I think you can do whichever you like.
Your call, Mr. Chair.
Why don't we do it as a group, and then if there's a hold on any of them, we can discuss that further? That make sense? So I will accept a motion to accept or approve the water abatement applications. Should I read each one?
Yeah, just read the addresses.
Okay, set at 780 Bay Road, at Asbury Camp Meeting Corporation, and at 300 Moulton Street.
I make the motion.
All right, thank you. Second?
Second.
Second, all right. Is there further discussion?
Was there a lowered, what's the word? A discounted rate applied to this at all, or are you going for the full rate?
No, it was at the higher rate. It was at the higher rate.
Is there any
The
way we could
discount would be the
offer a
abatement.
discount rate so it's not $41,800?
Well, what you're doing is.
Is lowering it?
You're
You're cutting the bill in half.
you're
Oh,
cutting
my-
in half. It was,
Okay,
the bill was originally
75. I
$75,000.
get it, I get it,
Yeah.
yep.
So you're abating $30-something thousand dollars.
Thank you.
$34,000.
So we've already done that, okay.
So I just maybe have a question as far as, say we abate all 3 of these, the big one included. Typically, when the abatement's made, does the person who has requested the abatement, do they pay in full the abated amount? I mean, these other folks I see, you know, it's still a substantial amount of money for those folks, I'm sure $500 and $600 or so. But, you know, we're talking $40,000 for the
My
grove
understanding
here.
is typically the abated amount is paid in full, but, I mean, this is a different case. I mean,
Right, and then I'm wondering if there has been any discussion about a payment plan, or does the association for the Grove plan on paying this in one foul swoop?
there are representatives of the Grove here, if you'd like to ask them to answer that question.
Yeah, come on up, Brad.
I'm Brad Tilley, 7 Essex Ave, and I'm representing Asbury Grove along with Eric Filer, who's our new superintendent, who is tremendous. We certainly would like a 4-year payment plan. We're a nonprofit, and we just can't afford that kind of money. It was a complete mistake that never happened before, and it'll never happen again. But it's unfortunate. As Darcy mentioned, we are looking for a rate reduction, because as it turns out, when we get our water for 94 cottages, we are billed as a corporation for those, not divided by 94 cottages, so that our rate is in the 14 plus per thousand. And those cottages are only used, some of them, a week or two a year. And our proposal to Joe and Tim is to try to divide that by 94. We do all the billing. All we have to do is have the water department divide it by 94, give us the bill, and allow us to divide it by 94, so we get the $4 rate, which is more in tune with what a cottage is. Our other problem is that we get that $60 water treatment or water repair bill for 4 quarters, but it's shut down for 2 quarters. It's completely shut down. We only use it 2 quarters. I don't know why we're paying $60 for 4 quarters. The other part is we do our own water lines. We're responsible for our own water line. Why are we paying the $60 to repair water lines that the whole town has had done, but we haven't? Because we have our own water lines. We're responsible for them. Now, if the town wants to take over the water lines, I'm very happy to pay that $60. But we're not getting anything for the $60 except for the water treatment plant, and I understand that.
So if I can interrupt, I think that, we did meet, Tim and I did meet extensively with Brad and Eric. We recognize that there's, the existing situation has been in place for many years, but given the current tiered system, it may present a bit of an inequitable situation for the camp. We're preparing to come to you in October to talk about tiered aspects of not just the camp, but what we do at other large properties, and maybe make some adjustments to the tiering. We already know that there's likely a need to make adjustments to the rate, so we think it would make more sense to do all of that at one time. We listened quite intently to what Brad and Eric had laid out to Tim and I, and Tim is working on a plan to propose to you to make some changes to that program going forward. That said, this is looking at the current situation. As I said, it's been in place for many years, and the incident that happened with the overusage of water. So I'd rather not conflate the two issues. They're both issues that need to be addressed, but I'd rather you focus, if you could, on the abatement in front of us today.
Yep. I'm very happy with the way our town manager and Tim worked with us. They were great. So, but we just need to get this taken care of because it's too much money.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a
The other
very
problem is,
unfortunate
naturally,
situation.
as Ms. Dale mentioned, this $75,000 is based on $14,000 a thousand. That's a lot.
$14. Yeah.
It's the highest rate.
Yeah. 21. Yeah. Right.
So that's really killing us.
And you're asking for a 4-year plan.
4-year plan, yep.
What does everyone think of
Who
that?
determines that?
I think it would be policy for you to say that it's okay for me and Tim to enter into a
Yeah,
payment
that's what I was
plan.
gonna say. I have to
I've
make a
seen
motion
payment plans
to-
in other water departments and other water enterprise funds in the past, so certainly nothing legally that would keep us from doing it. You just need to.
Yeah, because I kind of.
May I make a motion?
Sure.
I just wanted to ask a question. This was certainly an unfortunate accident, and my question is, what has been done to prevent that from occurring in the future?
We have a proposal. Our superintendent has looked into a meter reader that's remote to his phone that will tell us instantly if it's not, something's amiss with the program. And we're hoping that the town can help us pay for that. It's $7,500, I believe. But that's short money for the amount of water that the town will save if that happens again, and our water rate.
Yeah, have you updated your maps and stuff like that of the Grove with all your water lines and stuff? I know there was a few things that weren't on the map, and I think that's kind of how the whole
Yeah,
problem
that'll never
started
happen
here,
again, but
so.
that's good for everything, all the water lines. And we propose putting a meter on our pool, which is a large usage of that. We'll maintain that ourselves.
Okay.
Great, okay.
May I make a motion?
Sure, Darcy, thank you.
That we allow them to have a 4-year payment plan?
Can I modify your motion a little bit, Darcy?
I think you have to second
Yeah,
it
you
and
gotta
then
somebody
discuss.
Second.
Okay.
Discussion. So I think maybe I would feel a little more comfortable with the motion if we made the motion to leave Joe and Tim to meet with the members of the Grove to discuss a payment plan in a timely manner, instead of kind of restricting it to a 4-year plan. Maybe they are able to do it sooner, or maybe they have a hardship and they can't do it sooner, and they work out some kind of more logistical details, so we don't pigeonhole them into one kind of agreement, if that's okay.
Sounds good. Everybody, any further discussion? So what do we have?
Vote on
Amended
Darcy's
motion.
motion.
Yep. So first of all, on Darcy's motion,
And before we do, just,
Yep.
just clarify that you want some flexibility. Is that what you're,
Yeah,
okay, just,
totally.
There's a little flexibility.
yeah, yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, so
we have two motions.
Can I
One
have you
is
clarify that that is
Yeah.
for this large,
Correct, for
outstanding
this one,
use?
yeah. When I
That
make
doesn't
the
something we
motion,
want to
yeah.
necessarily apply all the time.
yeah, oh, for sure.
Just want to be sure.
Nope, I'll say it, don't worry.
So to get this straight, the first motion would be to approve the abatements of the 3 addresses we listed. We all on the same page, Mary Alice? Yeah. So, and that has been seconded. Any further discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. The second motion is to, if I understand it correctly, allow Joe and Tim to work with the Asbury Grove Corporation on a reasonable
Or-
payment plan,
Plus minus.
And so we're going to have to vote on Darcy's motion
Darcy's
first for the
first.
4-year, so.
the 4-year.
We approve it or not?
All right.
I would assume,
How you're
since we
amending
kind
it.
of agreed with my almost motion that I haven't made yet, that we'll have to say no to Darcy's motion, and then I'll make a new motion.
Wait a
Okay.
minute.
It's a little confusing, but
I think you could just amend Darcy's motion to say that
Yeah,
up
so-
to,
so
a
then
payment
I'll-
plan of up to 4 years, subject to the
so
negotiation.
I'll make a amendment to Darcy's motion
All right.
that we leave the timetable up to Joe and Tim, the DPW director, to work on a timetable for payment plan, in this instance only, for Asbury Camp Meeting Corporation in Hamilton.
For 4 years, for a 4-year payment plan.
For up to a
Maximum 4
4-year
years.
payment plan, or whatever flexibility they determine to be the most prudent.
Well, they asked for 4 years. I think we should make it a max of 4 years. Does that sound all right to you? Yep.
That's okay with me.
All right. So in Darcy's motion, it's been seconded. We've had discussion. All those in favor of Darcy's motion?
I forgot
think-
what.
It was,
We got to
Amended motion.
The amended
We're
motion. Say
voting on the
amended
amended
motion.
motion.
Say amended motion.
We're voting on the
Oh.
amended
Amended
motion.
motion, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
The amended motion.
No, just the amended motion.
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor of the amended motion?
Aye.
Aye,
All
there we go.
right, excellent. Good, got through that. All right, thanks, Brad.
thank you.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, everybody.
So if you're listening at home, if I may say, Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
just pay attention to your water meter. If you notice it, if you go outside and you know where it is, clear your bushes around it so our DPW guys can come and read it. And if you're not at home and not using any water and you see it spinning, something's going on.
You can also get, we had some abatement requests in spring, and you had asked us to get, dye test kits that could be available for folks to test their toilets, to see if they have leaky toilets, and we have those kits. With DPW has ordered them. We put messages into the water bills, letting people know they can seek out those test kits.
great.
How expensive are they?
They're fairly cheap.
It's a dye pack you drop in the tank.
Yeah, we bought a whole bunch of
So drop in the tank. So if your toilet's not leaking, the water will not go into the toilet. If it's leaking, slow leak, the dye will then draw itself into the
Yeah,
toilet.
it's
So-
usually a little paper thing.
Yeah.
You just stick it
Yeah.
in the tank. If your water turns blue or purple, whatever,
Without being
you've got a
flushed,
leak.
there's a leak.
Oh, it's interesting.
So it's a very,
That's so
it's
It's a
yeah,
very simple.
It costs like 3 cents.
Archaic kind of a thing, but it works great.
And that came from,
bought a whole big box.
That's
of
from
them
Ed
for-
Howard.
that came from Ed Howard, so I got to give Ed Howard credit for that one, yes.
Tim bought a really huge box of them for like 50 bucks.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And it can save hundreds and not thousands of dollars, so.
Right, exactly. I like that.
Test your toilets.
All right, excellent. Let's see here. We are on now to discussion of the trash contract with Patton Ridge Condo Association. We've talked about this a couple times. And it's basically, would give you, the town manager, the approval to come up with an agreement?
We gave you the, so we did hear back from Casella, and they confirmed for us that all of their cost to us, for them to pick up, would be a total of $14 per household per, whatever the period is in there. It's,
For the 3-year contract?
so it's, per month, it's $14 per household, so I think there's 12 households in the Patton Ridge, right? So it'd be 12 households times 14 times 12 months, and that's the annual cost. This was a draft back in the spring to have this policy, and then we drafted language on a sample contract. You've got that in there. The only thing that is spelled out in this draft contract is the actual cost that we'll be adding on for managing the collection of the fee from the Ridge, and Finance Director Marissa Batista will include that in the contract before we sign it with the Executive Board. So if you can approve this version of this contract, we'll negotiate the final language, and that'll authorize me to sign it with them and get them onto the town collection. Casella doesn't think it'll take that long once we settle the contract, so.
So is there a sample contract, or did we wrote this
Yeah,
one?
it's in there.
No, but I mean, did we write this for this, or did we find someone that's been used in the past successfully, or was this written for this?
We paid town council to draft this.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's,
Okay.
Some time ago.
And you've seen it, and you're okay with it?
yeah, I was just gonna say, have you guys seen the,
Oh. Sorry.
take a minute to
They'll
look at
they'll
it?
have to review it before they sign it.
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah.
So at this point, shall I make a motion
Sure. Be great.
that we accept the policy on trash removal at private ways and condominium developments with a caveat that we may be modifying or editing some of the details
The contract.
In the MOU.
Yeah. In the MOU. Yep.
Great.
on the documents?
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Second?
So, discussion, I just have a question. So this is any private way or condominium development. So does it limit anything in town?
Right now,
There's only a few.
There are only a couple that don't get
Okay.
pickup. It's this group and the Junction hasn't come and asked.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's really it.
The earlier adopted policy requires the homeowners group to seek us out.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do, then this authorizes me to kind of interact.
Does it say where they need to take the trash to? Is it a part of it? Like to take it into the street, or how's that work? Is that on here?
I'm sorry?
Is that in here where they actually pick the trash up? Is that in this agreement?
Just like the rest of the town will be picked
At
up.
the end of the private way?
At the end, yeah, it'll work with, just like with the rest of the town.
Well, it's different. Some people take it into the street, some take it into the private way. It gets technical at that point, so.
And it'd be unrealistic.
Yeah, but some aren't like that, so.
Right, some you have to take it, like if you're in a.
Like Gal
development,
Ave, gotta take it all the way down.
Yeah, take it all the way down
to Highland.
Because the street's impassable for the trucks.
Right, exactly.
I don't think we have that
And
situation.
so
with that
I
ridge.
think,
It's actually built well enough that we'd be
right, I
able
think
to
it's
truck.
wide, you were on the board at the time when we did the Ridge, didn't we?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. And so
28-foot
big
wide
thing is
road,
we
so we
need to
could
turn the
pass two fire
truck around,
trucks.
right? So
It's-
if we
yeah.
can turn the fire truck around, we can
Right.
turn the trash truck around in there. In fact, they park in there anyway and probably turn around.
In
Right,
fact,
right,
currently,
Barb Hesselwich, 3 Patton Ridge, President of the Condominium Association for Patton Ridge. Yeah, Casella actually does occasionally come and turn around in our development already. So
Don't pick up trash.
they're able to get there, so our understanding would be is that we put it at the end of our driveways like.
Just like normal kind
Yeah.
of, or whatever residence
Yeah,
normal is.
it would be unrealistic to expect us to take it down
All the way
Shasbury
down,
Street
right.
because we have 2 residents are over 90 years old.
Yeah, as long as that's what yeah, I'm out, yeah, but I agree with you, just as long as that's what the $14 includes. The $14 includes at the,
Includes
Okay.
in front of the house, according to Casella, and, you know, with a situation like if it was Patton Ridge, not Patton Ridge, if Junction came to us in the future, I'm not sure their driveway turnaround area
Right,
is
I don't think
conducive
it
to
is.
having a big trash truck go
Yours
anyway,
would
so we
probably
may
be
have
at
to
the end.
require them to bring it to the end, but I think they do that for the private hauler now anyway, so
Yeah.
that wouldn't change anything for them.
Okay.
We just kind of do businesses that can be done on a case-by-case basis.
yeah, and just to phrase my question, I'm 100% in favor of this. I'm always one thinking the worst case scenario. If somebody else comes in and doesn't.
You don't want to have them
so-
hauling the trash
Yeah,
all the
so
way
I'm
down,
100%
like to
for,
your
I'm
point.
100% for this. I'm just thinking of the agreement that's global for the town. Is there anything else that we are putting ourselves at risk because we're just
Or we
thinking about
missed
this right
any
now?
detail.
Right, correct. So just to make it clear.
Right, and I have a question about should, inevitably, they always do, costs go up, how often is
It's
that?
negotiated in here that
It's in here.
we're-
Yeah.
It's in here that we're able to
It's right
make a
here.
contract based on our changing our costs.
Is that at the end of the contract?
It's
or
right here on
in-
page, under the memorandum of understanding, it's the second to the last paragraph. The recipient shall pay the increased cost for pickup or tipping fees charged to the town in the event such costs are increased by any service
Right.
provider.
And I guess my question, as a follow-up to that, would be, when would that be enforceable? At the time, or at the next.
It's our belief it's at the time, but I'll make it clear to them and we'll
Right.
sign the contract.
And right as soon as the rates go up, we would pass it on to them.
Exactly, that's my question.
In real time.
Yeah, within 30 days of a rate increase or something like that, put some
Yeah,
time frame.
that's- yeah,
Just notify them, have them vote on at their next meeting, et cetera, et cetera.
Right, and it's a,
Mappy.
thr-
Yeah.
Be easy.
Put in,
and it's a 3-year contract
Just
with
minor
two
amendments.
renewals,
Correct. Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's
what's,
in there.
what's the next step, Joe, after the 2 3-year renewals?
You know, I'm going to have to research that with our new town council. Our old town council said we could do it in 3-year contract with 2 3-year renewals. Once we go beyond that, it gives us 9 years to figure it out.
Right.
But I think we could probably find a solution.
Kick the can down the road, no
I
pun
just didn't
intended.
want- And for the ridge and stuff, the houses aren't probably going to fall off the side of the ridge before then. So in 9 years or so, I want to make sure that they're able to figure out some kind of a mechanism to renew or rewrite the MOU or whatever we have to do. So you hope.
That would be good.
So I did make a motion.
Yes.
Right, right.
Bill seconded.
I did second it.
That's why we're
We've
discussing it.
had further discussion, yep. We ready to vote?
I think we are.
Okay. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
All right, great. Excellent, thank you, Joe.
No problem. Okay. You'll hear from me shortly. I just have to get Marissa to fill in that other piece of the contract, and I'll send it to you. You can take that. It'll change a little, but you got the basic form.
Yeah, sorry you didn't have it earlier.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Okay, and
Do I need a motion to go a little bit out of order here? Ray's here tonight, and rather than go through the whole draft warrant review, I was wondering if we could move him up.
That's
Move
fine.
the fire
we
chief
could,
contract.
just so you know, town council's here too, but that's beside the point.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
So do I need a motion for that, or can we just do it? What?
Let's do it.
You can just do it.
Procedural, yeah.
Okay. So fire chief contract discussion. We met with Joe. Darcy, I think you had a couple of comments that you wanted to make, and hopefully, Joe, I think you're waiting to hear from FinCom to get their comment.
So the FinCom was actually forwarded a copy of the contract back in August, the day after it was sent to you, because we knew that you'd want to have it looked at. And so I'm waiting to hear back from them.
Okay.
But to that point, I know Darcy wanted to have this on the table.
Okay.
so.
No, I just wanted to make sure that we had the training for all the people at the fire station so that there's like a curriculum, or, I know that we haven't had it in the past and this is on your shoulders, but are you planning on having like a curriculum and?
Like I brought in front of you earlier this year, I brought a whole agenda and I spoke to you about it. And I thought I made myself pretty clear that this was, the forefront of my goals and the upcoming, year to get all that established. And I've already started on the policies and procedures.
Oh, good.
And that incorporates the training, and I actually have sent out an email to all the members scheduling another appointment. I met with each and every one of them, as I said in my first meeting with you, and I plan to do that again, and I've actually brought the amount of training that they need to do, how many calls they need to show up to. We have a committee, we've revised all that with the officers and myself, and we're about ready to put that forth to our members to let them know what is actually expected of them for the upcoming year, so that they would be held accountable as of July 1st of 2020 if they did not make those training and those runs that they need to make. Then they would be either put on probation, or they would not be
Retained.
rehired or reappointed. Is
Yes.
the right word I'm looking for the following year. I truly believe that everybody needs to stay up to a certain standard, and moving forward, that is our goal as a community, as a town, and a fire department. We need to make sure that our public has the best trained personnel that they can possibly have.
Great.
Okay?
Thank you, thank
All
you.
right, did I
That's
answer your
great.
questions?
Yeah,
Okay.
you did.
All right.
Perfect.
Thanks, Ray. And I guess, Darcy, if you could ask the FinCom if they could get back to us so we
Yes,
can get this done for Ray.
Yes, I will do that tomorrow.
Okay.
Because I know David has it, and I think they're meeting
Meeting Thursday.
Thursday.
I hope, I mean, I know that they're diving into talking about the warrant.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they can spare a few minutes to look at,
Yeah,
to have a
David,
quick
I'll-
conversation about Ray's contract and
I'll touch
get back
base
to
with
us.
him
That
and
would
see
be
if he
great.
can get back to me as soon as possible,
Great.
maybe Friday morning or something, and see if we can, but we
Get
can
this
still
done.
vote, right?
You can vote,
We can vote?
subject to
Can I-
whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
May I make a motion that
Yes.
we accept the fire chief contract as written?
Second.
All those, in further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Excellent.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ray.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so now we are at
Draft warrant.
draft warrant review.
So you'll notice in your packet, you have 2 copies of the draft warrant, and that's
Yeah.
because after Michelle did a great job of printing out copies for you from what Tom had sent us, I went through today and updated the table of contents in the warrant, just because I thought that would be a silly thing to have a different version for. So the one that was outside of your packets and sitting on the desk.
Is it the one, and I've mixed them up now,
I
but
did
is it the
too.
one that has color copy in it or black and white? If you look on the first page, one has hamiltonma.gov in red.
Yeah, the
is
one
it?
with color.
One with color.
Color
is
is the one I printed out.
Okay.
And so we can kind of go through the warrant, if you like, with Attorney Tom McEnany, our town council, is here.
Hey, Tom.
To assist with the conversation today, answer any questions. Good evening.
Hey, Tom.
I would like to just let you know, I did have
Oh, there's the red.
a communication from the FinCom. They are meeting on Thursday. They've asked for a little bit of additional information on some of these warrant articles, but they've already started to draft kind of their recommendations based on what their preliminary discussions were, and they're pretty far along the way. I think that in general, we're in pretty good shape for this, but we're planning to print out the warrant. To remind me, we were planning to print out the warrant 2 weeks prior to town meeting and mail it the week prior to town meeting. So we've still got a little bit of time for them to make final recommendations. Primarily, their big asks at this point are, final numbers on the difference in options A and B in the town hall building study question. So we're efforting that with the consultant staff.
Okay.
Just kind of a process question for our warrant hearing upcoming. Are we going to have Mr. Bowler come in and
Yeah,
vote the warrant
I
over
actually,
the warrant?
that reminds me, I actually met with Bill again this morning, this morning as well. Our moderator, Bill Bowler, came in to meet with me this morning graciously. I appreciated him making time to see me this morning. We went over the agenda. He's planning to be on your agenda or he's asked to be on your agenda on October 7th, which is about 12 days before. That'll give us plenty of time. The warrant will be in final shape. You'll have made all your votes. The FinCom will have made all their votes. We'll be sending it to the printer, or it might have been sent to the printer the Friday prior to October 7th. So we'll be in really good shape as far as getting ready for town meeting, and everybody should have all the same information. At that point, we can talk about kind of warrant script and the order of, who's going to introduce articles and things like that at the meeting on the 7th.
Perfect.
All right, so how do we want to do this? Do we want to go one by one here?
Well, I mean, do you want to see if Tom has anything up front that he
Yeah.
Yeah, I
wants
was
to
going to say, does he have
raise?
anything he wants to discuss and
He and I both had a question that we've left it in here for now, but I mean, we both were curious. We both noticed it through several iterations of previous warrants, that when you look at where it says article on the page, it says, say for instance, in Article 1, it says Article 2019/4, then 1-1. Neither of us can figure out what the 4 is for, and we don't know that it has a statutory need to be there, but not wanting to break with some kind of tradition that we didn't know about, we find that we left it there in this version, but if you don't know of any reason that should be there, we'll strike it, because it's accurate.
you're the elder
every
statesman
article.
here?
Is that the month?
No?
Or, no, it doesn't
That would be,
represent
for
the month?
ATM.
That would be for ATM, but this was in the previous STM warrants as well.
Yes.
funny.
We were
It-
kind of surprised.
We took a look through the last several warrants, and they all had that
Do you
/4.
have any clue about what it could mean?
I have no idea. It's not something that's
It's a
required.
holdover.
How far did you go back? Like 2, 3 meetings, or was it like 6 meetings?
Well, we went back,
About 4 or 5
I think I looked at the
meetings.
2015 warrant as well, and that had it
so
in there
it was in
also.
there then, so.
It's funny.
I know, I looked at least 5 meetings back, and I kept seeing it there, and I was like, I don't know why it's there, but Tom didn't have an idea, so we figured I'd ask you if
I'll
any
have
of
to
you
look in
knew.
my files and see if it's on some of the early ones from when I first moved here in 2003, maybe.
We don't believe there's any legal reason it needs
There's
to be
any-
there, and so I just don't want to,
I would be in favor of striking it
Yeah.
if we can't figure out the relevance in it. Unless, Duke, you have
you have
something.
an answer?
There we go.
Maybe Duke does.
Institutional memory.
Yeah.
I love it.
we do see Essex Street, I believe we put that in so the town would know how each of you voted for or against the article.
At number 4?
Number 4.
Yeah.
4 to me would be 4 people who voted and 1 person. was
Oh, I
absent.
see what you're saying, Duke. No, it's a different spot. It's in the
You have
title
that
of the
in
article.
Yeah, that's in, yeah, we have that in, we have
We
that at
have
the
it.
bottom.
It's underneath each article.
I don't know if the 4-0
Yeah,
is.
Yeah, no.
And then typically-
So,
That's a good try, though, Duke.
perhaps somebody will see this
Yeah.
at home
Somebody at home
and
might
call me
know.
It's
tomorrow.
amazing, you look at something a million times, don't see anything
Pending
wrong with it, and somebody else looks at it and says, what the hell's that? And you're like, I have no idea.
Never
I think we'll
did.
probably
Looked at it a million times.
Okay.
So
Just wanted to be transparent about
Yeah, if-
moving it.
if there's no relevance to it, is everybody okay with
Yeah.
striking it?
Yeah, I mean, right, there's no legal precedent.
If there's
for it
no
that we need to be-
legal reason for it and we don't know what it's for, just might as
There's no
well.
point.
No pun intended.
I'll give it a day or two.
Don't know
If
what
I
it's
don't hear
for,
from
no
anybody
pun
else, I'll
intended.
just assume that it's,
Yeah.
it was held over by
Always change
accidentally.
it back, right?
Yeah, we can always change it back.
Anything else, any other things that,
There's a typo right on the, page 1 is a phase 4 water improvements. We got a 2-19.
On the table of contents?
Yeah. It's 2-194. Should be 2019. Article 14.
Is it on the article?
It's on the table of contents, page 1.
1-4.
It says 2-19.
Oh, I see it, yeah, it's like section 2, 1, 2, 3 down.
I see it, yes.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
let's see.
It's right here,
Wait a minute.
section 2, 1, 2, 3 down.
Good eyes. It should be a 0. Okay, gotcha. Thanks.
I had to look at it about 4 times.
I know.
Yeah, I kept missing it. Okay. But for budget adjustments, okay.
Oh, and just for, just since we're talking about town meeting, just to remind everybody, it's October 19th at 9 AM at the high school.
Yes,
And
and
I
I-
don't think it's currently up on the website.
I have to, it isn't?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I just got a text. So, October
Not
19th
good. Saturday, October 19th at 9 AM?
at the high school.
At the high school.
Auditorium.
I will be confirmed. The front page here also indicates the babysitting, but I'm not sure of that yet, so I have a note here to myself to confirm that tomorrow.
Confirm it.
If
And
that's
are-
possible. If
Are
it
we
is-
doing a breakfast like we have been doing the past handful
I will
of
do
years
some
now?
kind of, we'll do something.
Okay.
I think that if people aren't opposed, we used the Essex Aggie last year at the annual
Yeah.
town meeting, and it seemed to be pretty well received.
great, yeah.
The food was pretty good, and it cost a little less.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and it was great to kind of highlight the work those kids can do in the culinary arts program. So I'm going to try to reach out to them and do that again.
Yeah, if we can continue that, that'd be great.
idea.
It's not on the website. The only thing for that date is an e-waste drop-off at Town Hall,
Right.
What is that?
same day.
So everybody can drop off their e-waste
On the way to.
to or from, on the way to or from town meeting.
Right.
So, not bad. Okay.
All right, back to
All
Bill.
right, Tim, sorry, back to you, Tom. Did you have anything of note that you wanted to bring up with the board? Get into this?
No, I mean, this is obviously a draft, so there are still some additional changes that we'll need to make to the warrant. I did just actually, before I came into the room here, have a discussion with Dorr about the community preservation articles. He gave me some language that the CPC had given to him, so I want to make sure that what we're including in the warrant is consistent with what they're proposing to include, and if there are any issues with respect to their language versus what we think should be in there, that we get that worked out as quickly as possible.
Okay, thank you.
I noticed a couple of random typos too, so I kind of highlighted those, but other than that, you know, if you have specific questions, we can certainly answer them.
Can we have more time to look at these?
Absolutely. We got another meeting in
Okay.
you got another meeting in a couple weeks, and you got a meeting on the 7th. You got 2 more
Okay.
scheduled meetings before town meeting, and at least one more scheduled meeting before, you know, we want to finalize all language and take votes. So you don't have to go through and take votes on this tonight. I just thought if you had questions that might
glaring or
require the
something,
town
yeah.
council's input, I asked Tom to come tonight to help us out with that. If not, we can let him go, and then if you have something comes up, you let me know, and I'll forward the question on to him.
Sure. Or if you wanted me to come back for one of those future meetings, the good news is I live very close by, so it's not really much
That
effort for
inconvenient
me.
for you?
I'm in Danvers, so I'm right down the street, so it's an easy trip over here for me, and even if it wasn't, I would still make it. But if there's, you know, if you want to have more of an opportunity to review the articles, and at that point, they should be in more of a finalized form as
Yeah.
well, I think, so.
I mean, and so far, if I may interrupt you, Tom, just as far as looking at the warrant language, I've assumed you've looked through it all and everything is fine, other than missing numbers and some other kind of things in there.
Yes.
And then as far as the summaries, that's a little bit more custom tailored to kind of describe the article and everything like that. I'd like a little more time to look at the summaries so I can digest those a little bit. And then maybe, I think it might be worth it, if we do discuss summaries of the next thing, if we have some changes in wording or something, to have Tom here to make sure we're not saying anything out of turn in the summary that would affect something in the article. Just, I would feel safer with that, if that's okay with people.
Mind
That's
being here on the 23rd?
23rd, sure.
Yeah, I think I've read through, I think we've talked about most things in this meeting. The only one we really haven't talked about is, as a board, is, let me find it here, sorry, I turned my page too quickly, is Article 2-7. If we voted on that, we would vote without a discussion. So do we want to go through and make sure that we feel like we've had enough, do you want to just go through all of them real quick and just make sure we've had enough discussion as a board to vote? I mean, I know we're not going to vote, but just make sure, or do we need to put on a future meeting to
right.
talk about it?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Maybe
Right.
we kind of go through them one at a time, say, have we talked about this enough? Yes.
We just need to think about it on our own and vote at a later date, but, or, yes, you know what, when you talk about this more, put it on a future agenda. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yeah, are there some things we could vote on tonight?
I don't want to vote tonight on
You don't
anything.
wanna vote on
No.
anything?
This.
Okay.
But I want to know whether we want
I
to,
wasn't planning for you to vote tonight, so
Yeah.
you're not hurting my feelings by not voting.
I want to know if we need
By all means.
to, like, we need to invite the town hall committee here for a
do it
meeting, they
faster
need to know about it, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Agree with that. So,
Want the town hall building committee to be?
Jeff, you want to, let's just go through it one by one.
So I think we're going to get there, but yeah. I
Probably
think
not
so.
the next meeting. They have meetings on the 11th and the 26th, I think.
The
Maybe
Town
so
Hall
maybe-
Building Committee?
Yeah.
I
So
think they're meeting this week.
They're meeting,
Right.
they're
But
meeting
there's-
Wednesday, and
And then the 25th or the 26th.
unless you want to have a special meeting after their meeting on the 26th, because then your next meeting isn't scheduled till
Right, right.
October 7th, so.
Well, I'm just thinking they will have as complete information as they're going to have after their meeting on the 25th or the 26th.
Is there a chance that they would change the language of the article at that meeting?
Well, I
I don't
can't
think so,
speak
no,
for
the dollar
them.
amount's pretty set.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
what-
Just a dollar amount, but I just wanted to understand,
Yeah.
we have questions
What
for
we're trying to
them.
do is present an article with a dollar amount, understanding that based on town meeting's attitudes, it could be changed. We're trying to provide all the additional information that may allow it to get changed. So that if it gets changed in the right way. What I don't want, or what I don't think any of us want, is for a town meeting to say, hey, we prefer a different option, but we'll approve the same amount of money for the option you
Yeah, yeah,
propose,
exactly.
because
That's
that
why-
might not be
right.
good enough, right?
That's why I wanna- yeah, I wanna
Need to have it all
understand that, yeah.
together.
Right.
And
That's the
we're
only one I
trying
think
to-
is in contention, the other ones I think, but if we could, Jeff, you just go through one by one, and we can just
Sure.
decide if we have enough information to vote at a later date, or if we need to talk about it some more.
Sure, yeah, no, that's a good idea.
Okay.
All right, so we'll figure out which ones we can put on the consent agenda or the motion as well.
We'll do that on October 7th. I believe.
Yep, okay. So we'll start off with 2-1, prior year bills.
Housekeeping.
Everybody good
housekeeping,
with
with
that?
that, we get amounts.
Okay, 2-2, reduce education appropriation.
We've talked about that, that's the OPEB, that was
Yep.
rejected by Wenham.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, 2-3, budget adjustments.
Yep.
That's just,
Yep, that
That's
was, we
moving
clarify-
to
over that.
clarify contracts, union contracts mostly.
All right, 2-4, water improvements.
This is changing the language, right? And just for the folks
This is
at
just
home.
changing the language. The dollar amount that's in here may be slightly inaccurate. Marissa and Tim have decided that it might be a little bit more than that, and Tim realized that he didn't include money to cover police details in his estimate, so
Right.
it might go up to almost 1.6, but Marissa's going to have that number finalized for us soon.
And the gist of it is that the money that's pretty much already allocated or borrowed, that we can use it more
No, this is
freely
different
within
than
the
that. This is different
distribution
than.
system.
No, this is
the
different.
one?
This is the water, this is the water infrastructure.
Right.
Oh, my bad, my bad.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is the same one we voted on year after year for the last 3 or 4 years.
This is
Same language.
Continuation.
Yeah, continuation.
of that, so it's approving kind of like the next phase
Yeah, I
of work
apologize.
of, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. 2-5, community preservation habitat for humanity.
So I'm aware of this because of the planning board and so forth, but I don't think everybody here is aware of this one, so I think it would be good to have some more information on this
Do you want
one.
Russ Tanzer to come to the next
It's a
meeting?
good idea.
Yeah, so this is the property with the cell phone towers in Asbury Street. They want to do like 7
Come to
units.
the CPC to
Yeah.
talk about, but he hasn't been.
Right,
to
it's a great
us.
project.
Details,
So
yeah.
we sort of asked for some time commitments, not make it a 2-year project,
Right.
Yeah.
but make it a
We're
quicker
pressing
project.
Don Preston to
Oh.
have a better timeline.
But I think it'd be interesting to hear a presentation on that, a
Yeah,
brief one.
I agree.
And just to add on these 2 community preservation articles, these are the ones that I was speaking with Dora
About,
about
so you'll
earlier
be
today.
finalizing
So
language on those.
some of the language may change slightly, but the gist of it will remain the same.
Okay. All right, so we will invite Russ for that. 2-6,
This is a companion piece to 2-7. I'd
Yeah.
suggest you could talk to the Town Hall Building Committee about both these articles at the same meeting,
Yep.
whether it's the 23rd or sometime after the 25th.
Okay.
To be
Sounds good.
determined.
okay. So it takes care of 2-7.
Garage doors, we talked
We talked about that
Yep.
last time.
Safety building.
That's what I mean, a lot of these
Yeah.
things we've already
Yeah.
sort of whipped through, which is good.
Water treatment, we already talked about, that's what you were referring to.
That's
That's
what I was
just the,
referring to, right.
it's just making that more flexible, so we can use that money maybe for a new source.
Yep. 3-1,
Rosemary's.
Rosie's.
So
Yeah.
what
We're
date?
going to have this
we
on
gonna
the
do that?
agenda for a short question and answer period at the
Right.
next meeting, right?
We-
Okay, next
Yeah,
meeting.
we don't
Okay.
have to have a public hearing on
Oh, we
it
don't, okay.
for our town council, but would be nice to have just a question and answer session so that people have an opportunity to learn what it entails. And I do, this is the final version as per discussion with town council.
The one that's in our packets. Okay.
Yes.
Great. Okay, where are we?
Compensation table, 2-1,
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
which is
housekeeping, too.
the housekeeping there.
Yep.
But it should be, is that
It's
the right
gonna be
number?
4-1,
I was gonna say
yeah,
that's
that
the
was
wrong
one of
I
number.
was gonna, yeah.
My mistake. One thing I didn't correct today, I'll correct it. Got it?
Joe.
Okay.
I'm not perfect.
I thought you were.
4-2,
And then that's just the redo of our 550 Highland Street.
Right.
Right.
Tax abatement, basically.
This is a follow-up of the previous town vote,
Right.
too.
It's making it more concise
Concise.
for the AG.
Okay.
You saw the email chain there, right?
wouldn't that be great to get this done? Jeez. Okay,
And I know Kevin was in here at our last meeting. Is all the details with this set with their
Yeah,
council and us?
We're in pretty good shape, and there were some questions today, because working in parallel and separate from this, Senator Tarr has reintroduced his
Right.
legislation that failed last year.
Right.
So it's gone back to committee, and there's gonna be a hearing on that, actually tomorrow at the State House, and Kevin was asking about that. That's separate and apart from what we're trying to do.
Right.
And our effort doesn't rely on that, and that effort doesn't rely on us.
Right, they're two kind of
The-
parallel paths.
To be
but-
honest, not to be impolitic, things, it can take a certain amount of time at the legislature sometimes. They're generally a little bit easier about approving home rule petitions,
Right.
as long as we have all our ducks in a row. And we now appear to have all of our ducks in a row, so we'll try this again.
Right.
Yeah, my
Take
understanding is
two.
the actual text of the special act will not change. It's the same as what
Right.
was proposed last time. Just in order for the legislature to move forward with it, they just require a more specific town meeting
Right.
vote. So that's what this does.
Right.
Okay.
got it. Okay. 4-3, amendment to income limitations for senior tax deferral.
And we talked about that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
I think that's it. It's actually not a bad agenda.
The fastest town meeting.
Doable in a couple hours?
Yeah,
You know, it doesn't overwhelm people, and that hopefully will encourage people to come.
and the most controversial could be with the town hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, I think the town hall building articles are something that'll get a lot of discussion. I don't necessarily view them as controversial. I think that, people are gonna vote the way they're gonna vote. We're just gonna, I spoke to Mr. Bowler this morning about making sure that, he was a little lenient with us. I said, look, we're giving you a really short warrant. Could you work with us on the time for presentations on the town hall building article? Because we want to make sure people have all the information, and he agreed. So,
Okay, good.
as he said, he likes to have short meetings, but he'll make sure that we have enough time to share our information so that we can get informed votes.
Good, okay. All right, so we'll do some homework, and this will be, so we'll try to vote on it at the next meeting? Would that be the goal?
Yeah, I think you can probably vote on almost all of it at the next meeting. I'll reach out to the Town Hall Building Committee and see what they think about, their ability to either join us on the 23rd or ask us to meet after they meet on the 25th. That might require kind of a quick one-item special meeting to talk to them. But we'll try to limit that for you. I know how much folks like things to be in kind of a normal order, and it's easier for the public to anticipate when it is that way. So in the interest of transparency, we'll try to get it done on the 23rd, but if they don't think they'll have all their numbers, I don't want them to come in with bad information either, so.
Okay. Makes sense. So we'll have two visitors. We'll have the Town Hall Building Committee, and we will have Russ come in for Habitat for Humanity article. Okay.
Yep.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you, Tom, for being here for this.
No problem, yeah, thank you for having me.
He's here for the next one, too, so.
Oh, he is, okay. All right. Don't go away then.
Just in case you have any questions, nothing bad.
So, the open meeting law violation ruling.
So you've all received this in letter form from the state previously. Last year, there was a complaint of an open meeting law violation involving the Board of Selectmen. Initially, the Attorney General or Secretary of State or whoever it was, found there was no violation on a second review, on a request for a second review. They have determined that there was a violation, and they essentially asked us to make sure it doesn't happen again. Since that complaint, even before there was any kind of ruling from the state, the board did vote to make it their practice to inform me when more than two of you are going to, well, anytime any of you are going to go to another board or committee's posted meeting, let me know so that I can keep track of whether or not there's going to be more than two of you there. So that if there is a need to have a posted meeting, we can post.
Or tell you not to come because you didn't post.
Or tell you not to come because we didn't post, one or the other. That would keep us from having this kind of problem again in the future. This was, I think Tom characterized it with me on the phone as kind of a little bit of a technical violation. They didn't censure us in any way. They didn't fine us. They told us we shouldn't do it again, and we will not do it again.
It says, I just want to read out loud just because I was there, but it says, the precedent we had said was that there would have been no violation if the council members had attended, listened, and participated as members of the audience, which we did to a certain degree. Not sat in their council seats, we did, and we sat in the audience. Participated openly only to the extent as members of the public and limited their participation to matters under discussion by the host body. I think we did all, I think the only technicality I found was that somebody asked Sean a question about a future meeting and he answered that question.
Right, I said something was going to be on the agenda or something like that, right? So.
And that's what that one sentence, the answer to the question is what, so now we understand that, we've
previously decided on a new policy that Joe had discussed, so.
And Tom and I had a good conversation and a good idea, so Tom, you want to tell the board what you had discussed as well?
Sure. One of the things that we talked about when we first came on as town council is to do open meeting law, public records law training for the board and any other boards and committees in town. So Joe and I thought probably sometime after town meeting, we'll pick a date that's on a date when boards and committees typically don't meet, so that we can try to maximize the number of people who can attend, and we'll put on a seminar with PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, sounds great. We agree.
So to the extent that there was a violation, I know we're all regretful of that, and we'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Know better, do better.
Right.
Correct, and I think we acknowledged at the time, which is why we said, even if we did or did not, we have a policy moving forward, so.
Yep. And the 19th is probably going to be the first test for the housing meeting. Isn't that the 19th?
Thursday, the 19th. This September 19th, don't confuse it with October 19th.
Right.
September,
So that could be
on the
one.
19th.
There's too many dates in the
That could be
calendar.
Going to the
one.
master plan, housing master
Planning on
plan
Well,
event.
actually, I think I'm going to go.
All right, so we will post, I will make a
Yeah,
note
why don't we
here.
post just to be safe?
We'll post
Because I'm-
just to be safe that
I might have
most
another
likely
commitment, but if
I will
I'm
be
not,
there,
I will
so-
go there.
We will post just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
Thank you, Jeff, for bringing that
So,
up.
I know.
into the little discussion we're having here, I think it's good to, when we have a meeting like this, it's kind of, we're all interested in it, to almost just tell Joe to post for it, just in case, just to
Yeah.
be safe. Better safe than sorry on it.
Yeah. Good.
Right. No, that definitely makes sense, particularly if there's the possibility that the board's going to want to deliberate and discuss some of the issues that come up.
Well, and even
I
if they
would
don't
just
want to,
say-
sometimes it happens. I
It
mean,
does, yes.
in their role as board members, they'll get up, they'll make a statement perhaps from
Right.
their perspective, but they'll be asked a question, and it becomes really easy
that's,
to
I think,
accidentally slip
pretty
in
much what
and
happened with our
say-
violation
Say
last
something
time.
that, might be opining about, or may be construed
Right.
as trying to convince your fellow
Right.
board members of something. So rather than leave it to chance, we'll just be clear.
Right, no, that makes sense, certainly. The one reminder I would just say is that you still need to open as if it's a regular board meeting,
Oh,
and
right,
take
yeah,
meeting
open it,
minutes
right.
and close
Right.
it and all that, so.
Right.
And we'll have minutes and all of that, or
Yes.
will it be combined minutes?
You would still take minutes.
Take combined minutes.
Right, I mean, I guess you could probably combine them, but still typically, each board would be responsible for keeping track of their own minutes and then approving them in accordance with the
Okay.
normal open meeting law process.
Okay.
Good, okay.
So does that mean that Mary Alice will be joining us?
Yes.
I will work it out, we'll make sure we know who's going to be there to take
Okay.
minutes. All right?
We do
You can always-
joint meetings all the
We
time.
can always record.
Yeah, we
If Mary Alice isn't there,
Right.
you can record
We
it,
can record it.
Okay.
and then you can pull whatever you say out of the meeting and put it in.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Minutes.
that's a good idea.
So who covers the planning board minutes? If that were Marcy, would you want me to be there as well?
That's why, let me work it out, that's, there's no sense in having two of us there.
That's how we
Yeah,
typically
I
do it.
just-
We'll
Right,
work
it
it out.
just-
Let me work it out with Patrick and Marcy. And we'll-
Sorry, don't mean to commit
Thank
you. Go ahead.
May I make a motion?
Yes, you may.
I move that we adjourn.
Motion of the night.
Is that seconded?
Do we have any new business that we want to talk
Yeah,
about first?
how about any discussion, maybe?
Discussion.
I think we have our plates full until the
Right,
until the
I'm-
Well,
19th.
I
I think
second
just
that.
based on our warrant review, we got a bunch of things already for the next agenda meeting. You want to do agenda setting next Monday? Who
Yeah.
from the board do you want to invite to that? Let's,
Bill, Sean, are you guys around at all Monday? We can do it anytime.
I'm in
right?
London tomorrow
Exciting.
through Monday, so I'll be unavailable
Oh,
Monday.
good for you.
Bill, I mean, we've done it in the past with the call-in. Do you want to?
I'll be good, I could do a call-in.
You do a call-in Monday
Yeah.
morning?
Yeah.
You want to do Monday at 9:30?
9:30 is great.
9:30 at Monday? Bill?
Who's going to call to remind Jeff?
Yeah,
To
exactly.
remind Joe.
I'll put it in,
Starts with a J.
I'll put it in my to-do box that call and remind you.
Get that agenda reminder thing that you pinged on a couple things.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a motion on the table. It's been seconded.
Aye.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Best
All right.
motion. Whew.
Excellent. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks very much.
Thanks for staying with us, Duke. My cousin is getting married.
Yours or your wife's or?
My wife's.
Did you want us to sign?
Oh, yeah. Hey,
yeah.
before everybody
All
skips
of
away,
us.
Darcy, you
Whole family.
remembered where I forgot. There's two
It's,
copies of a cemetery deed here that need to be signed.
it's
Thank you,
black
Darcy.
tie.
Caught me.